In today's session we're having a look at the close control and turning. So it's a slight progression from what we did in the last session, but just as a warm up here we're looking at trying to get a good grip on the ball. As we can see here, we're just doing the roll, stop and outside touch, similar to what we did last week. This will be an important part of our activity, so what we need to make sure is that we get a good warm up in doing this 10 times on both feet. Focus on using the outside of the boot to change direction and developing that little drop of the shoulder as you go along as well. Okay, we are now ready for the first part of our session, and for the first circuit we've got 3 activities, and we're just starting off first of all with the roll, stop, step. What we want to do is make sure we're getting grip on that ball as we're rolling it from one foot to the other. We're stopping it with our studs, but as we stop it we step off and drop our shoulder. This is developing that close control, but also the body movement that is so crucial to making you a good player and making you feel comfortable when you're playing against opponents. As we progress to our second activity, we're looking at a standing step over. So just start with the ball nice and still in the middle, step over, get your foot around the ball, drop your shoulder and take it off to the other side with the outside of your boot. You'll swap feet, which is always important that we use both feet, but really emphasise the point that we drop our shoulder after we perform that step over. Now it's very similar to the last one, but we're now trying to do this on the move a little bit more. So we are stopping the ball in the middle, but we have very little time to stop and wait and think about which foot we're doing the step over on. So we're going to roll the ball, stop it and step over, quickly taking it away to the other side with the outside of the boot. Get the technique right and then try and increase the speed, but really emphasise that drop of the shoulder, have nice balance and bend those knees as you're pushing the ball away with the outside of your boot. So we're now on our second circuit, and this is just the same circuit as the previous one that we've just done. We want to focus on developing that technique. As we do so, we're going to start to increase the speed. What's great is we're getting loads of touches using both feet. So focus on having that drop of the shoulder, the real good close control and grip on the ball, using those studs to make sure that you can stop it and position it where you want it to. But again, it's technique. Start off a bit slower if you're unsure, but as you feel more comfortable, try and build up the speed. drink because now we're into our third circuit and we're developing things a little bit more now. We're going to use that roll stop outside touch again, but I want you to start going just a little bit quicker. We're looking at trying to stop that ball, step off it and drop our shoulder, which allows us to create the space to use the outside of the boot to push the ball back to the start. We'll go 10 times starting from the right side and then 10 times from the left. But again, we want to do everything evenly, so we're always making sure that we're practicing as equally on our left foot as we are on our right. That will really help us. Even if it feels difficult for you, keep practicing, keep focusing on using that weaker side. It will help you hugely when you get back to playing again. And now as a progression to this, we are going to add in a step over. So if we just look here, as I've taken my outside touch, I'm now going to use that same foot to perform a step over. So it's a quick change of direction, opening up your body but dropping your shoulder at the same time as well. As you can see, we've got close control, we're turning, but we're also trying to develop that drop of the shoulder. It's that quick little outside touch, and then you allow that same foot to perform the step over again. We'll soon be adding in the L turn to our whole combination, so we just want to make sure that we're focused on getting enough touches and practicing that before that we add it in. So we're just going to look at pushing that ball forwards, dragging it back and making sure we knock it across behind our standing leg. It's good to change direction and it's great for that close control on both feet. So we'll do that 16 times, 8 times in total on each side. Now that we've had a practice of the L turn, we're going to add it into our whole combination. So the L turn will come after we've done our step over. And what we'll realise is when we do our step over, we'll end up changing the direction of our body slightly to the side, which allows us to then roll the ball and then perform that L turn. So it's about quick feet, organising your feet, putting them in the right positions, but also making sure that we are comfortable using both sides of our body. So we add in the L turn to change direction once more. We have to make sure that we go slowly on this. So if it means that it takes you 5-10 minutes to try and figure it out, then do that. Don't rush through and get it wrong. Make sure we're going slowly, break it down into stages, and then we'll eventually start to be able to put everything together and perform that combination all at the same time. But as you've done that, you can then start to increase the speed. But don't try and rush through it. Be patient, take your time, and trust me, that will really, really help you develop your close control and your turning. So as we've had our break, we are now going to go into the progression, the final part. As we can see there, I've just dribbled forwards to the first cone and performed the roll stop step. What we're aiming at doing is progressing through each skill at each cone. So now there I've moved on to the roll stop outside touch. As I get back to the cone and drive forwards, I'm going to just add in my step over. So roll stop, step over and a turn around the cone. And what I'm looking for is just think of each cone as an extra stage. We go through the stages. So now I add in an L turn, and then as I turn around the cone I come back into the start. And now I'm looking at trying to complete all of the movements and combinations we've just done together. So I've done my roll, stop, outside touch, a step over and an L turn so that I can come back into the start and go again. As I get back into the start, I'm just going to perform that all one more time just at the middle of the cones, trying to increase the speed, get the quality of my touches and the control as I turn around the cone to come back into the start.